wow.
Oh, my thing. Oh, it didn't. Oh.
I see question marks.
Yeah, it didn't save. Oh.
Audio's good.
I gotta fix these again. Damn it, I had so many good ones. Fuck.
Ooh, I'm liking these topics, especially that first one.
Fuck, I had like a whole list that was just funny, like Nim took over and scribbled on the chalkboard Koblz.
He would.
Fuck, I'm so mad. I had so many good ones. Damn it.
God, question marks. They're taking over.
Everything's ruined forever.
Well, regardless, hello everyone. I am the DM, and welcome to Whiskey Wednesdays, a Fools and Flagons show where I review and discuss various topics regarding D&D as suggested by you and the lovely people in our Discord. Unfortunately, as you can probably still hear, as I am coming back from being under the weather, and last Wednesday I basically came home and just died. So I unfortunately had to skip a week. We have no topics. This is kind of a makeup session. We're just gonna kind of talk about random stuff that's D&D related.
Are you drinking whiskey?
I have a small shot. I don't want to get too dehydrated or like really burn my throat on much. But
worse.
I'm also drinking Powers, which is a little bit smoother and a little bit less harsh. And it's tasty. So we'll go with that. This episode, I'll probably try to turn this one around pretty quick, since it was technically supposed to be out today. So maybe I'll have it go up like this Friday before our D&D session, which we are finally going to be getting back and doing D&D.
Right. I'm so excited.
There had been the potential plan of having a makeup last Friday, but Kayla wasn't able to make it, and then I got sick, so it was just a shit show all around.
Show F shit.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But a big thank you to everybody. We broke past our 5,000 podcast download milestone, and we're well on the way to 10,000 downloads. So glad to hear that people are downloading and enjoying our stuff. So thank you for listening if you're listening to this in the podcast version.
Yes.
But without further ado, let's talk about D&D shit, shall we?
Yep.
All right.
Sure.
Okay.
First drink of the night. You go ahead.
Can I sit next to Issa?
I don't know.
I was
Zach,
wondering when you were going to ask that.
are you okay with giving up your seat, Zach?
Oh, 1 second here. Let me look at the Twitch thing and see where I'm sitting.
Wow, not even watching. You know what? Because of that.
I like how you're shaming me, but I showed up. Unlike a bunch of other people.
Not even watching.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's Bunny.
Oh,
That's
there.
not who I want.
So the first topic on the board. The first topic on the board is Koblz. Hey, Issa, you want some mas?
Quality moss.
I'm inside you.
Oh, God.
You nibble on that carrot and not my tail.
Nim is just like, hey, baby, how you doing? Oh, Nim, you would have been proud of me. I had some rumbles this morning.
Ooh, good rumbles.
Oh, yeah.
Kobolds. Kobold
Go ahead.
variants. What if kobolds are just miniature dragonborn? They have all the same features, like their breath weapons, or if they're crystal dragons, then they have like psionic abilities and tactics.
I mean, couldn't you just run a dragonborn that was the size of a kobold at that point?
No,
I like the idea of a kobold not realizing they're a kobold and thinking they're just a dragonborn with dwarfism.
That would honestly be in character, though.
It would be really fucking funny.
Spoiler alert.
All right. Whiskey's gone. Ugh. It hurts a
That felt
bit.
great on the throat.
No, there's one spot that really fucking burns right now.
Oh,
Worth it for Whiskey Wednesdays.
worth it.
I bet this cough drop is going to taste great after downing some whiskey. Oh, that's interesting. I'm actually not opposed to that. What the fuck?
You try one of my cherry honey ones. They're really good.
Your fascination with cherry is almost as scary as your fascination with bunnies.
Watermelon, thank you very much. They don't have watermelon Picola. I look
Um,
a lot.
So- one cool kobold variant, which is actually real, would be a kobold vampire spawn.
That's terrifying.
No. That's terrifying until you realize he's about knee high, and then you're like, oh, kick.
Ankle biter.
They have not only pack tactics, but regeneration, which the vampire regains 10 HP at the start of its turn. It doesn't require air, so it could be in space or underwater or in a rock. But it does have all the vampire weaknesses.
I am now imagining Pez in space running in one spot because there's no friction. He's just...
So I'm actually curious. Like, are vampires susceptible to light? Just like
No.
they are kind of like...
Not really.
No? I heard yes and no.
I don't think
this,
so.
This kobold, he has sunlight hypersensitivity, which means he takes 20 radiant damage when it starts to turn in sunlight. While in sunlight, it has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks.
So, like, I was wondering if it was like kobold weakness to sun plus vampire weakness to sun equals super weakness to sun.
Yeah, he steps into the sun, it's just gone.
Deceased.
I think I was looking at the Dampier like legacies, which I don't believe that those are weak to sunlight.
I don't think those are.
So you're looking at like a proper homebrew race. I'm looking at like...
No, this is an actual D&D thing from Icewind Dale.
Really?
Yeah.
From the Ravenloft book?
Rime of the Frost Maiden?
Do I not own that one? I could have sworn I bought that one.
I'm
Oh, I
just
have
looking
Von
at
Richten's
Inner
Guide to
Monsters.
Ravenloft.
Ah, okay.
That's what I'm thinking of.
One of their other weaknesses is forbiddance, and that's like the vampire can't enter a residence without an invitation, which I just think is adorable. It's like a kobold knocks on your door giving you cookies, but it's secretly a vampire.
He's
It's
just
like,
rolling his hat around in his hands. Cookies? Yes.
Just imagine, like, just like Zahn sitting inside of our wagon, just Pez outside. Knock, knock, knock. Can I come in? No.
Slam!
No, I just leave the door open. No, it's much worse if I leave the door open because he still can't.
Oh!
You would.
Of course I would.
Poor little wee bab.
why can't vampires enter a residence without an invitation?
Because they're very polite.
I was gonna say that, but I think there's a logical reason why they can't.
Yeah.
Am I a vampire?
Yes, you are.
So why? So I'm actually curious.
So that's why I'm always ugly when I look in the mirror,
Sir?
because I can't see
Let's
myself.
see.
So vampires cannot, on their own, enter a house without an invitation because the threshold on a mythological and spiritual level is considered a kind of magical and protective barrier that gives security to the home. If the vampires try to enter uninvited, they will be weakened or even lose their powers entirely.
Yep.
Oh.
Fucking shit.
Fascinating.
I like the idea of a vampire wearing a mirror and an eye patch so they can always see out the back of their head.
Eh.
Also, I don't know if you want to show that in stream, but that's what a kobold vampire spawn looks like.
Hold on, please.
Oh,
Link it in
un
creature
momento.
share, too.
Just a gangly little noodle.
Yeah, put it in creature share, bro.
Oh god.
Look at that.
Yeah,
It's
see,
so
it's super
gangly. He's literally a knuckle dragger.
It's just like they're so threatening until you realize they're just so tiny.
They make me think of the monster Scrappy Doo in the Scooby Doo movie.
We don't talk about Scrappy. We don't talk about Scrappy. No, no. We actually had to introduce that to most of my aunts and uncles. There was actually a person at the wedding called Bruno, and he was Dutch, I think. And we had to keep, like, anytime someone was talking about him, like, all the cousins were like, shush, 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 shush. We don't talk about Bruno.
God,
He was in on the joke already, but
Oh,
we had
okay.
to educate some of one of our uncles about that particular song. He enjoyed the movie though, so there's that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he actually sat at my table. He's a really, really good guy.
Nice. Could you imagine a horde of vampire kobolds just swarming you? Because that's what they do. They swarm only one foe at a time.
Yeah, until I pull out a flashlight.
Unless the flashlight is UV.
Pull out one of those, like, the Beacon of Gondor flashlights.
Oh my god.
Just fucking...
I mean,
Bam.
even then, I think you would only blind them. Like you really have to get a specific bulb that emits UV light, which is really weird to think about.
Yeah. But it'd just be funny. This horde is chasing you, and all of a sudden... Vzz, just fucking...
What other kobold things are there? Well, there's the kobold inventor, whose picture has the scorpion on a stick with the skunk in a box on his back.
You think I'd be surprised at this point, but I'm not.
No, not
The
at all.
kobolds are cool. They're inventive little shits. They thrive in trap making.
I love that their description is basically they build their place essentially to the height of long legs, but all their infrastructure is built for their height. So pretty much everything that's normal and safety for them is a tripping hazard for everything else.
Yep.
Like 7-8 foot tall ceilings, 2 foot high guardrail. Like
Jesus Christ. I can only imagine the fucking problems that would come from that.
now on your left here, you'll see the pit of despair where all the longins keep falling over because they can't reach the height, the guardrail.
That's fun.
And our ocean manual says 2 feet 3 inches.
And then, of course, there's the best kobold subrace, the Icewind kobold, of which is just 3 kobolds in a trench coat.
Oh, God damn it.
You mean you?
Yeah.
He is 3 like malnourished kobolds in a trench coat.
Yeah.
Skinny fuck.
Constantly hungry.
Well, Nimbus had his turn with the kobolds. Zach, you want to talk about the Bunneeze?
Heron Gone?
The Bunneeze.
I mean, I can talk about bunnies all day, but Heron Gone? I don't know, man. I do find the...
I mean,
Like,
we can
I
move
can't-
on to big, scary monsters instead.
Well, to be fair, I do find it interesting that the Heron Gone and Fairies, right? Came out in that one book? It was Fairies, right?
Oh fuck yeah.
Fairy
hold on.
folk.
Where is it?
Sorry?
Pause for dramatic effect.
I have the book. I just can never remember which one it is.
Is it the carnival one?
Yeah, but it has a name. I mean, I own it. Witchlight something? Carnival of something? Hold on.
Yeah, which light? Boo, 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 boo.
The Wild Beyond the Witchlight.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. But long story short, so you have Fairy Folk and you had Heron Gone. They came from that.
Mm-hmm.
which I find very interesting because like a lot of it has to do with like fairies and fey creatures, but like herringons aren't innately like in any real shape or form related to any of that. You're not really considered a fey creature. You can't like you don't get like bonus to interactions with them or anything like that. I found that very strange. Like, don't get me wrong, like I'm super happy that herringons are a thing, but like
Is he?
I was expecting a little bit more interaction after like reading everything. I'm like, why wouldn't you have the ability to talk like fey creatures or have more of a relationship or something kind of like you would do with like fairy folk? Because I don't
Well, it
know.
also doesn't really help that they basically circumvented all of that by introducing them again with Mordenkainen's.
Wait, reintroduce what again? Sorry.
So D&D Beyond essentially revamped 90% of the races with Mordenkainen presents Monsters of the Multiverse.
Okay.
I think it was their way to like ease people into one D&D because this is where they started to say like because before they would you would get the information with like the Harengon, it would say they're anywhere from like 3 to 5 feet tall, they weigh this much, they're like this long lived, whatever. And now it's like, yeah, you're humanoid, go to the player handbook and roll your random physical traits as far as like height, weight, and age.
Yeah.
They
I mean,
took
like,
a lot of the lore out of it.
Yeah, like I'm fine with them doing. I mean, it's obvious it's not my stuff. They wrote it, so they do whatever they want. But it's just like I don't know. It's just like it feels like a missed opportunity. And that's not just saying for Heragon. It's just that's the only race that I've really read about. So like they probably have done that with a couple other things. It's just I'm not aware of it.
Well, I think the reason why Haragon were even like introduced via the Feywild is because of Alice in Wonderland.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, like I'm not gonna argue that fact because it's very likely somewhat true in a fashion. But like I don't know. It's like you come up with a lot of these races that have like really cool like backgrounds and stories and stuff like that, and then you introduce something with Feywild and you relate it to it almost nothing or in no way, shape, or form.
Well,
And
the
then,
interesting thing
Ian brings
now is that I can't even look at the old Harengon. I can only look at the one in Mordenkainen. Because a few of them will have, like, Volo's Guide to Monsters has their own section. Strixhaven has its own section for the Owlin, the Feral Tiefling, and Sword Coast Adventurers Guide. But they don't have one for Witchlight, which is really strange. Or is that just because... Did I not buy that book? Hold on. I swear I did.
I'm almost positive you did.
In Mordekaiser's is different because they have a draconic cry, which is a bonus action. You let out a cry at your enemies, and until the next start of your turn, your allies had advantage on attack rolls to any of those enemies who hear you. Oh, okay, so instead of it just being like grovel, cower, and beg, they just renamed it to draconic cry.
Huh.
Okay, never mind.
Okay.
So same thing, just name something different.
Mm-hmm.
No, I own it.
Maybe it's one of those where it's because you have the other book and the other book's more like I guess I wouldn't say up to date, but more recent. That's what it ended up using.
I mean, they kind of almost have to just to keep their coding from losing their shit. I mean, just because they were brought in with the fairies and everything doesn't mean they're necessarily from the Feywild. They just happen to
But they
be
are.
within the setting of that campaign.
Well, no, what I mean, but they were like the circuses they traveled the Feywild, and that's where they came from, or at least that's the stuff that I read before all of this. I haven't read more than whatever it is.
Oh no, there we go. Feywild themed adventures, blah blah blah. I mean, not everything in the Feywild is a Fey either.
Oh no. Like I mean, I'm not upset that they're not a Fey. It's just like again, like you think that because they interact with Fey creatures more, they would have something related to that in their lore or something like I don't know, they can understand Fey language or something like that. I don't actually know if that is something, but
Haragon can speak Sylvan naturally.
I don't know what that is.
That's about Feywild as you can get.
Oh, okay.
Fancy Elvish.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Like hoity-toity Elvish.
Oh, like high elvish we're talking about?
More or less.
Interesting. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I'm not mad. Like, I'm happy with Haragon
I
ratios.
don't know.
and stuff
You
like
sound
that.
pretty mad. I'm gonna need you to calm down, sir. You are just getting out of fucking control.
Too much money.
Too much money. I'm sorry I brought up the conversation. I promise I won't do it again. I won't trigger you anymore. He's plotting how to kill me now.
Moss is similar to carrots.
Oh, no, I'm just deciding which plan A through Z that I should use.
Well, knowing how egotistical you are about yourself, you're probably going to go straight to Z.
He's right.
Ooh, goodness.
So I guess the next thing you wanted to talk about, big scary monsters.
Trask.
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 Thank you, Matthew Mercer.
Yep.
I don't know.
What say you about the Trask?
Good talk.
All right, good talk.
I keep forgetting to turn my microphone on.
There you
Oh
are.
God, rip.
What a freaking dummy.
It's okay. I didn't have much to say up until this point. Anyway,
enough.
I was about to what I was trying to say is that, and this is skipping way far ahead in the lore, is that Planescape, I think it was Planescape, gave us probably the most terrifying bit of lore for the Trask, and it's that there's an entire planet of them, and that's the reason that they are both a predator and a prey, is because the only thing that's scarier than a Trask is a bigger fucking Trask.
Huh.
They have teeth. Lots of teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's just an
Immune to,
entire
like,
planet full of
everything.
them in the D&D, like, galaxy system, whatever you want to call it. Whenever you use it, there's like, yeah, there's an entire planet of Tarrasque. That's the reason they have spikes on their back, because that's something prey has. It's because they're afraid of bigger Tarrasques.
So I am actually curious. So in D&D in that aspect, are other planets considered other planes of existence in that aspect? Or just
No.
other locations?
Not necessarily.
Planescape is super confusing and complicated.
Yeah, that's a whole individual Whiskey Wednesdays conversation. Think of the planes of like World of Warcraft, but a little bit more complicated, I think.
But there's only like two.
I've
Or three.
It's almost like the MCU's version of the
Multiverse.
9 realms. They're all
Ah.
different dimensions and planets at the same time.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's an okay way of understanding.
When you think of D&D planes, think of like the Airbus A380 or an F-22 Raptor.
Where are you going with this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Nowhere.
Nowhere? Okay.
I think he was naming jets.
Yeah,
He was
jets?
naming planes at the very least. So for those who may be listening to this and don't know what a Tarrasque is, a Tarrasque is the quintessential you've pissed off the DM and he wants to kill you all. The armor
And he
class
wants-
is 25 natural armor, which for most people means that you're going to need at least a natural 20 to even hurt it. Its hit points average is 676. You roll 33 d20s and you add 330 to that result.
Hold on.
It had-
Let me do that real quick. Alexa, roll 33 D20s.
Okay, here's that pad. Roll 33 6 and got 101.
101.
Dice pad.
So that's actually on the low side. That's only 431 hit
Alexa,
points.
stop.
Say that's super. Alexa sucks at rolling.
I think she only rolled D6s.
Oh.
Okay, huh.
Hold on.
Oh, hold on. Let me see if I can crash D&D Beyond by doing it
Oh,
through Boar's character sheet.
I rolled 33 d20s.
I want to do it with my
Okay, then
mimic dice.
I won't tell you what I rolled then.
Oh God.
Did you break your D&D Beyond?
I'm sorry, audio listeners. That was really fucking loud. I'll try to remember to. I got 338, so that's 668. That's
a lot.
still less than the average that this gave me. So, it has 30 strength, 11 dex, 30 constitution, 3 intelligence, 11 wisdom, and 11 charisma. It is immune to fire, poison, bludgeoning, piercing. Sorry, it's immune to fire and poison, and it is immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. So you could punch it with an unarmed strike all day long, but unless you're a monk, you're not getting anywhere. It is immune to being charmed, frightened, paralyzed, or poisoned. It has 120-foot blind sight. Its proficiency bonus is +9. It has 3 legendary resistances. It has magic resistance. It has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. And it has reflective carapace. Anytime the Tarrasque is targeted by a magic missile spell, a line spell, or a spell that requires a ranged attack roll a d6. On a 1 to 5, the Tarrasque is unaffected. On a 6, the Tarrasque is unaffected, and the effect is reflected back to the caster as though it originated from the Tarrasque, turning the caster into the target. It is also a siege monster, so it deals double damage to objects and structures. That's just its passive shit.
If I did Kobold math correct, if you rolled 33 natural 20s plus that 330, you would get 990 HP.
It would probably take Zach, what do you think, 2-3 rounds to crit it to death?
Yeah.
Ha ha ha. So funny.
It has multi-attack. The Tarrasque can use its frightful presence. It then makes 5 attacks. 1 with its bite, 2 with its claws, 1 with its horns, and 1 with its tail. It can use its swallow instead of its bite. The bite is a +19 to hit with a 10-foot reach. The average is 36 piercing damage. If it's a creature, it's grappled, and the escape DC is 20. Until the grapple ends, the target is restrained, and the Tarrasque cannot bite another target. All of its attacks are basically a +19 to hit. The claws a 15-foot reach, 28 damage. The horns is 10 foot, 32 damage, and the tail is 20 feet, 24 damage. And you have to make a DC 20 strength saving throw or be knocked prone if you're hit with the tail. Every creature within 120 feet of it and is aware of the creature must succeed on a DC 17 wisdom saving throw or become frightened for 1 minute. It can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns with disadvantage if the Tarrasque is within line of sight, ending the effect on a success. If it succeeds, it is immune to the fear for 24 hours. You can be swallowed by the Tarrasque. Each turn that you're swallowed, you get dealt an average of 56 acid damage at the start of its turn. If the Tarrasque takes 60 or more damage in a single turn, it must make a DC 20 con save or it throws you up. It also has legendary actions. It's got 3 of them. It basically gets to make 1 claw attack or tail attack. It can move up to half its speed, and it can chomp, where it makes 1 bite attack or uses its swallow, which takes 2 actions to do. So this thing is just a fucking tank.
Mm-hmm.
Someone did find an interesting loophole with it, though.
What's that?
It can only do it doesn't have any magical attacks, correct? It's all physical.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you
Clay
count
golems.
reflective carapace.
Right. Clay golems also don't take any damage from. I believe it's don't take any damage from non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing. So if you have a clay golem if you like get a clay golem and put it up against a Tarask, it's a perfect punching bag.
Just won't deal damage to it, huh?
Yep.
Oh, I
how
see
do
what
you
you're
get
saying.
clay golems?
If only you had an artificer who knew how to make golems.
Can you make a clay golem as an artificer?
I mean,
Did the DM who wants the artificer to do more stuff just say you can't do this?
I didn't say he can't. It was a question. It's a large construct. I believe that the constructs you can make can only be tiny.
I can make it.
Just made out of
really
like
powerful resin.
100 tiny clay golems.
They Power Ranger transform into a big clay golem.
Like Golem Megazord.
Just one of them goes,
It's morphin' time!
You had me until you said that idiotic shit. You idiot.
well,
Well,
I take back nothing.
What other big scurry monsters are there? Issa sent me a
dude, even the clay
terrifying
golem, like if it got swallowed, it wouldn't be able to be damaged because it's immune to acid.
Yeah, but it's a large
Just
creature.
punches it from the
Can
inside.
Can a Tarask actually swallow a large creature?
Tarask makes one bite attack against a large or smaller creature it is grappling. If the attack hits and the target takes the bite's damage, the target is swallowed. So yes, it is just the right size. Well, now there's something interesting. It says a large or smaller creature. Is a construct technically a creature?
Yes. Creature just refers to any adversary, I think, for the context of D&D.
Hang on. I need to look that up because that's
Pause for dramatic effect.
creature descriptions. I don't even know how to like look this up. Hold on. Is a construct a creature?
Is a Tarask more powerful than Tiamat?
Okay,
Technically, yes.
advertisements. Fuck off.
Well,
That'd be an
Tiamat is
interesting fight.
definitely
Tarask versus Tiamat.
smarter.
Okay,
So who's Tiamat?
constructs are artificial creatures. Okay.
So
A creature.
Yep.
Yes, as I shake my head.
You're shaking it left and right, but saying yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I know it's technically not a conversation about D&D, but now I just really want to spend a Whiskey Wednesday doing a Tiamat versus a Tarask experiment
That would be
battle.
fun.
So again, what is Tiamat?
Tiamat is a gargantuan fiend. It's a 5-headed dragon. You've seen the model at the shop, I'm sure.
Oh, so Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon.
No,
No.
this is the
five
one that
heads,
has like it basically has one head for each of the chromatic dragons. So there's the black, the red, the blue, the green, and the
it's the one I did the fan art for of Pez trying to give cookies to her.
Yeah. Also, I believe in Faerun, she's only technically a higher level fiend, devil, I think to be exact. But
Yeah.
in some of the other realms, she's considered basically a dark goddess.
I was gonna say,
of
she's a
evil
deity,
dragons.
right?
In some lore she is, in some lore she isn't. It
Yeah.
just really depends.
I like
That
to
shit
think
flip
she
flops.
She's also
In Dragonlance, I know she is. She's a
she's in
god.
charge of the first layer of hell, I think.
Maybe.
Well, in charge is a loose term. Like she was put there and is like, all right, I'm gonna run this bitch.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a subjective statement.
her godhood.
Oh,
her
actually-
godhood depends on what realm she's worshipped in.
I guess this is technically spoilers, but like I'm actually genuinely curious. Ian,
Huh?
because we've heard the stories of the gods in your universe, how would the gods fare against a Tarrasque? Like in loose terms, like not. This is how they would do specifically, but would one of the gods in your universe be able to fight a Tarrasque and win?
Honestly, the main problem there is that Valkyrie and Gambors would be fighting each other to see who would get to fight it first.
Coyote
Okay, so
would be
there are two
laughing.
of them now, and they both get to fight one at the same time.
The Tarrasque would absolutely lose. I mean, you're
I'm just
talking
pi-
about divine power.
Again, but like
I'm just
like you said
picturing-
before, it's more along the lines of like they're gods to us, which just means they're really powerful. But like
No, okay.
Comparison.
Tiamat would be different because Tiamat, like Nim was saying, is theoretically in some lore is a deity. A Tarrasque is just a big monster.
what
It's- Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's special. It's huge and it's really hard to take down, but
It's not a god.
it's not a deity. Like you can kill it.
Just curious.
Yeah. In the D&D module where you actually fight Tiamat, one, that's Faerun, where she's not considered a deity. She's only considered a very high-level fiend. And two, technically you're not fighting actual Tiamat, you're fighting a physical avatar of her, I believe.
Mhm.
I could be
An
totally way
aspect.
off on that, but that's how I understood it.
Aspect of Tiamat.
So to kind of compare the two, same armor class, Tiamat has slightly less average hit points. Her average is 615. She only gets 30 d20 plus 300. But she has a 60-foot movement speed and 120-foot fly speed, so she's way faster than the Tarrasque. Stats are vastly in Tiamat's favor. 30 strength, 10 dex, 30 con, 26 intelligence, 26 wisdom, 28 charisma. Her strength is plus 19 for saving throw. Her dex is plus 9. Her wisdom is plus 17. She is immune to acid, cold, fire, lightning, and poison. And she is immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks. The Tarrasque would not be able to hurt Tiamat.
Well, there you go.
Tiamat is also immune to the conditions of blinded, charmed, deafened, frightened, poisoned, or stunned. She has 240 feet of dark vision, which is double what the Tarrasque has. She also has true sight to 120 feet, which means that invisibility wouldn't work. She just sees you. Her passive perception is 36.
Man, I've got some work to do.
Yeah. She has discorporation. When she drops to 0 hit points or dies, her body is destroyed, but her essence travels back to her domain in the 9 hells, and she is unable to take physical form for a time. Tiamat can innately cast Divine Word with a spell save of 26 3 times a day.
So is Tiamat a bad guy in this, or she's just a deity?
Oh, no, she's
usually a evil
ahead.
deity.
yeah,
If
that's
when she is a deity, she's an evil deity. When she's not a deity, she's a devil. So
she's
yeah.
she's just bad. She just wants to rule.
and destroy.
She has
also going
5 legendary resistances. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. Going back to thinking about a Tarrasque versus the gods of Archeron, I'm just picturing. You said Valkyrie, and what was the other one?
Gambors, the orc god.
Gambors. I'm just picturing Gambors and Valkyrie in the back, just like fighting and wrestling to like, I want to fight him. No, I want to fight him. And you just see Bowler walk up with a giant hammer and bonk it on the head.
Nim, please.
Oh, I don't have those set up.
Oh, God damn it.
All the drivers.
Boo. Boo, damn, boo.
So here's an interesting difference, though. With Tiamat, she has limited magic immunity. Unless she wishes to be affected, Tiamat is immune to spells of 6th level or lower. She has advantage on saving throws against all other spells and magical effects.
Now,
Tiamat's weapon
I-
attacks are magical, so she could hurt the Tarask.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Can a wish spell wish Tiamat away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The unfortunately, since that's not a well, I guess you could. It would substitute it for a 9th level plane shift or something like that. But if you were just wishing her away without copying a spell, it would probably kill the caster.
Why?
One of the wish spell's main features is that if you wish for something and there's a spell that does what you're wishing for, it'll default to the spell. But if you wish for something that's not really able to be done by a spell, it will do that, but it's also bending reality beyond normal means, and it's going to take a toll on the caster. Sometimes you just can't cast the wish spell anymore. Sometimes you're bedridden for days or weeks, and sometimes it just kills you.
So the wording of it is, the stress of casting this spell to produce any effect other than duplicating another spell weakens you. After enduring that stress, each time you cast a spell until you finish a long rest, you take 1d10 necrotic damage per level of that spell. This damage cannot be reduced or prevented in any way. In addition, your strength drops to 3, if it isn't 3 or lower already, for 2d4 days. For each of those days that you spend resting and doing nothing more than light activity, your remaining recovery time decreases by 2 days. Finally, there is a 33% chance that you are unable to cast Wish ever again if you suffer this stress.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah,
So-
but I know Matthew Mercer was talking about it one time. He's like, yeah, I played with DMs when someone used a wish spell and it's really outside of the confines of what you're supposed to be able to do with it. Sometimes it just straight up kills you. It'll still do the wish, but sometimes you're just dead.
Yep.
What if
And he
it's the wish
says-
is to make you immortal?
It would probably put your soul into a phylactery and you would become a lich.
Yeah, probably. Because they were also talking about the wish spell. The power has to come from somewhere, and so they were talking about like, well, where does that power come from? Is it just the universe itself? Is it some higher power that's even above the gods, like the Lady of Pain, or is it just what is it and how does it feel about what you're wishing for, kind of thing?
So, the way, again, it's kind of worded in the spell here. Sorry. You might be able to achieve something beyond the scope of the above examples, which is the spells and all the other crap. State your wish to the GM as precisely as possible. The GM has great latitude in ruling what occurs in such an instance. The greater the wish, the greater the likelihood that something goes wrong. This spell might simply fail. The effect you desire might only be partially achieved, or you might suffer some unforeseen consequence as a result of how you worded the wish. For example, wishing that a villain were dead might propel you forward in time to a period when that villain is no longer alive, effectively removing you from the game. Similarly, wishing for a legendary magic item or artifact might instantly transport you to the presence of the item's current owner. So it's kind of a potential monkey's paw. Or a djinn, for those of you that aren't familiar with the monkey paw, you might be familiar with djinns versus genies and how they twist your wordings to grant your wish by pure technicality rather than the spirit of the wish itself.
My favorite example of some djinn fuckery is it's like, yeah, this guy found a djinn, thought it was a genie, and said, I wish for $100. And the next thing you know is there's a bunch of deer outside his house.
Yep. Do we want to keep on going with Tiamat's abilities, or do we want to scooch on?
Next big scary monster.
Kraken.
Demogorgon?
Demogorgon?
Demogorgon.
Demogorgon. Demogorgon.
Demogorgon and then the Kraken.
Okay, I'll pull up
And
the...
then, Issa, what'd you say?
None.
I think she was just joining in on us.
Mhm.
Oh gosh, back when. No, I'm not gonna say it.
Say it.
So the Demogorgon, AC of 22, average hit points of 464. It has 50-foot movement speed and 50-foot swimming speed. Its stats are pretty good. 29 strength, 14 dex, 26 constitution, 20 intelligence, 17 wisdom, and 25 charisma. It's only considered huge.
Huge.
It is resistant to cold, fire, and lightning, so Zon, you'd be fine.
Wait, say that again?
It is resistant to cold, fire, and lightning, but with your feature, you negate resistances, so you'd be able to damage it, no problem.
Ah, I just cracked my arm.
It is immune to poison, and it is also immune to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing that is non-magical. It cannot be charmed, exhausted, frightened, or poisoned. 120 feet of true sight, passive perception of 29. It knows all languages and has telepathy up to 120 feet. 3 legendary resistances. It has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. And it has 2 heads. So it has advantage on saving throws against being blinded, deafened, stunned, or being knocked unconscious. Its melee attack is a plus 17 to hit, does an average of 28 force damage. If the target is a creature, it must succeed on a DC 23 Constitution saving throw, or its hit point maximum is reduced by an amount equal to the damage taken. This reduction lasts until the target finishes a long rest. It dies if its maximum hit points is reduced to 0. So don't get hit by this guy.
I'll be right back.
If you do get hit by it, you'll go into the upside down.
It also has a gaze feature. So it can turn its magical gaze towards one creature it can see within 120 feet of them. They must succeed on a DC 23 Wisdom saving throw or suffer one of the following effects. Choose one or roll a d6. Beguiling Gaze, the target is stunned until the start of the Demogorgon's next turn, or until the Demogorgon is no longer within line of sight. Confusing Gaze suffers the effect of the Confusion spell, which is a very confusing spell. It lasts until the start of the Demogorgon's next turn, and it does not need to concentrate on it. It also has Hypnotic Gaze. The target is charmed by the Demogorgon until the start of its next turn. It chooses how the charmed target uses its action, reaction, and movement. It has a few spells that it can cast. It can detect magic and major image at will. It can do Dispel Magic, Fear, and Telekinesis 3 times a day. And it can do Feeble Mind and Project Image once a day. It also has legendary actions. It can hit you with the tail, and it can cast a spell as a legendary action. So that tentacle attack is probably one of the scariest fucking things I've ever seen. Because if it averages at 28 force damage, and you fail that save, that's fuck, dude.
Yeah.
And it can make a multi-attack. So if it's hitting you twice with a plus 17 to hit, which for most classes is basically a natural 1, is the only way you're going to really save that. Man.
Every turn. So what creature are we talking about right now? You gotta feel up to date.
We were still on the Demogorgon.
Ah, okay.
I'm not going back over it again for you, though.
Well, I don't care.
A Demogorgon.
Demogorgon. I miss Jeremy.
Same.
Yeah.
Well, the Kraken has
Kraken.
It has an AC of 18, average hit points of 472. It can move. It has a 20-foot movement speed, but it can swim 60 feet. So this is absolutely a sea creature.
What?
Can you just imagine a kraken flopping towards you on land?
Yeah, everyone's like, no, I guess we'll just slowly walk away from this.
What's that? What's that thing crawling across the desert? I think it's a kraken. What's it doing so far out of the water?
There was that storm that came through last night. I just like the idea of there being a massive water spout that ripped it out of the ocean and just chucked it somewhere.
I just like the idea of like two like southern those old cartoon southern hicks just
Oh, they're just on the rocking chairs on their front porch.
Is that a kraken?
Is that a kraken in our cotton field? Some bitch, get the shotgun. He's too close to the mash stash.
Release the hounds.
You just say, let's see. It is immune to lightning damage and the typical non-magical attacks.
Really, immune to lightning damage.
Which
So
for
why
you would
is
make
that?
it
Not-
only resistant.
Well, no, not that. Like not inside the confines of like Zon, but like, why would it be? It's a sea creature. Why would it be resistant to lightning damage?
Sushi.
Probably.
Or-
One of its legendary actions is Lightning Storm.
Oh, okay.
So the
there's
Kraken
an
magically
actual-
creates 3 bolts of lightning, each of which can strike a target the Kraken can see within 120 feet of it. The target must make a 23 dexterity saving throw or take 22 average lightning damage on a failed save or half as much on successful. Yeah, generally these big creatures that have elemental abilities will be immune to said abilities.
Gosh, I did not know that it could cast lightning stuff like that. That's something new.
Well, I mean, I didn't know until you asked, and I was like, there has to be a reason. There has to be something here that would, bring that up.
Immune
and
to
then I saw
lightning damage
Storm.
at the very end. Fuck you, Zon.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, but for you, though, if I'm not mistaken, anything that is immune to lightning
Becomes
is now just resistant to it. So you can still damage it, which will probably confuse it and piss it off.
Yeah.
Like this motherfucker.
How's this thing so strong it can cure me with my own damage? Damn it! And why is it only 3 foot tall and fluffy?
It has freedom of movement. That's pretty big.
What's that mean?
It ignores difficult terrain, and magical effects cannot reduce its speed or cause it to be restrained.
Oh, wow.
It can spend 5 feet of movement to escape from non-magical restraints or being grappled.
What the hell? So I can't grapple it?
I mean, it's gargantuan,
Very
so no, you couldn't grapple it to begin with.
Fucking quitter talk there, Mr. DM.
You can only grapple something one size larger than yourself. You are
Quitter
barely,
talk!
you are barely medium.
Quitter! What Zon sees Kraken? Cracks knuckles. I'm gonna go grapple it.
I'm gonna go wrestle it. Its bite attack is a plus 17 to hit, average of 23 piercing damage. It is also able to swallow.
I bet it is.
Averages 42 acid damage, so not quite as much as the Tarrasque, but still pretty wicked. Tentacle attack is a 17 to hit, average of 20 bludgeoning damage. It can grapple. Until this grapple ends, the target is restrained. It can fling. When large or smaller object held or creature grappled by the Kraken is thrown up to 60 feet in a random direction and knocked prone. If the thrown target strikes a solid surface, it takes 3 bludgeoning damage for every 10 feet it was thrown. The target is thrown at another creature. That creature must succeed on a dex saving throw of 18 or take the same damage and be knocked prone. So, it seems difficult, but not impossible. The Ink Cloud is a legendary action. While underwater, it expels an ink cloud in a 60-foot radius. The cloud spreads around corners and is heavily obscured to creatures other than the Kraken. Each creature must make a DC 23 con saving throw or take an average of 16 poison damage on a failed save for half as much. A strong current disperses the cloud, which otherwise disappears at the end of the Kraken's next turn. So, scary, a lot of health, but
Not unkillable.
honestly, the main thing that really scares me about this one is the health pool is massive. Lightning Storm is scary because it can strike 3 creatures with it. and that's 22 lightning damage on a failed save. The bite can be scary if it swallows you, because that 42 acid damage is fucking terrifying. But as far as just overall damage taken by the attacks, 23 is not a whole lot to speak of. And if you're just already like accepting the fact you're going to get hit with a plus 17 in most cases, yeah, I'm not nearly as scared of this as I am like the Demogorgon.
Yeah.
I got another one for us, and I just love the thought of this being a thing.
All right, what is it?
Warforged Colossus.
Oh, I had that pulled up earlier.
Wouldn't that just be the Iron Giant?
Pretty much.
It actually doesn't have an image on D&D Beyond, which is really upsetting.
Dang it. I wanted to see if I can Google one.
So its AC is 23 with an average hit points of 410. It has 60 feet of movement. That's kind of scary. It is immune to necrotic and poison damage and the traditional non-magical attacks. It cannot be charmed, exhausted, frightened, incapacitated, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, or stunned. Oof. This is a monk's worst nightmare right here. Jesus. It has 150 feet of true sight. Oh. But only 10 passive perception. It understands common but cannot speak. Immutable form. It is immune to any spell or effect that would alter its form, so it cannot be polymorphed. It has 3 legendary resistances. And it has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. Towering Terror. Any enemy outside the Colossus that starts its turn within 30 feet must make a DC 26 Wisdom saving throw or be frightened. Once it succeeds on this check, which can be repeated at the end of their turn, it is immune to being scared for 24 hours. It can make 3 attacks, 1 with its slam, 2 with its eldritch turrets. The slam is a plus 18 to hit, 20 feet of reach. That's pretty huge. Average of 29 bludgeoning damage. And the Colossus can push the target up to 20 feet away from it. So that'd probably really piss Brick off. The Eldritch Turret is plus 18 to hit with a range of 300 feet. It is an average of 18 force damage. And if the target is a creature, it is knocked prone. There's no save, you're just knocked prone. It has Stomp. The Colossus stomps one of its feet at a squeech on the ground within 20 feet of it. Any creature in a 20-foot radius, 20-foot high cylinder centered on this point must succeed on a DC 26 Dex save or take 33 bludgeoning damage and fall prone. Till the Colossus uses its stomp again or moves, the creature is restrained. While restrained in this way, the creature or another creature within 5 feet of it can use its action to make a DC 26 strength check. On a success, the creature relocates to an unoccupied space of its choice within 5 feet of the Colossus and is no longer restrained. Last but not least, Incinerating Beam recharges on a 5 or a 6. It fires a beam of light in a 150-foot line that is 10 feet wide. Each creature in the line must make a DC 26 Dex save or take 60 radiant damage on a fail, or half as much on a successful one. Oh shit. A creature reduced to 0 hit points by this beam is disintegrated, leaving behind anything it was wearing or carrying. Basically, that means no revive. You're done. That's
The only
scary.
thing would be a true resurrection.
Yeah,
Wish spell.
which would mimic a resurrection spell, but yes. Yeah, that's terrifying.
So if it blasts a Trask and a little tiny top hat falls out, was the Trask wearing the top hat, or did it eat someone with a top hat?
Yes.
It sounds like a Schrodinger's cat question. I really don't know how to answer it.
Kobold brain.
Moss brain.
Yeah, but there are some pictures that we found in character sharing of some different art of colossi.
What is the plural of Colossus?
I
Colossi?
believe it's colossi.
I like the second one. It reminds me of the Titans from Hercules.
Yeah.
Hercules.
I'll show it on the stream real quick here.
Who's your favorite Titan from Hercules?
The rock guy.
Oh, that's cool looking.
I like the ice one.
You would.
I mean, I do
It's
too.
like-
But I like the rock. To be honest with you, I think they're all pretty cool. I just don't care too much for the lava one, but meh. It still looks cool.
Can't really think of any other big scurry monsters.
Yeah, I was looking
There's
at
the spider
others.
nightmare fuel Arasta.
Yeah, do that one.
All
The
right.
what now?
Hold on.
It gave me
I-
nightmares.
How do you spell it?
Arasta.
Ah, okay. It's a huge
Oh, so it's-
monstrosity. AC of 19, average hit points of 300. 40 feet walking speed, 40 feet climb speed. Stats are pretty good. 24 strength, 16 dex, 23 constitution, 15 intelligence, 22 wisdom, and 17 charisma. It is resistant to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical. It is immune to acid and poison. It cannot be poisoned. Has blind sight of 60 feet, dark vision of 120 feet, and its passive perception is 23. Armor of spiders, mythical trait. Oh, you don't see many things with mythical actions. Hold up. This recharges, it's called Armor of Spiders. It's a mythic trait, recharges after a short or long rest. If Arasa is reduced to 0 hit points, she doesn't die or fall unconscious. Instead, she regains 200 hit points. In addition, Arasa's children immediately swarm over her body to protect her, granting her 100 temporary hit points. So she goes from 300 hit points to 0, back to 300 hit points.
He's basically Ungalant from the Cimmerillion.
Yeah, you're fighting 2 of them. 3 legendary resistances. She has advantage on saving throws against spells. She can climb difficult surfaces with spider climb, including upside down on ceilings without needing to make an ability check. And she ignores movement restrictions caused by webbing. She can make 3 attacks, 1 with her bite and 2 with her claws. The bite is a plus 14 to hit, average of 26 piercing damage, and a DC 21 con saving throw, or you take 32 poison damage. That's a lot of poison damage. The claws are 14 to hit, an average of 17 slashing damage. Web of hair.
I don't like that.
This recharges on a 4 to 6. Sorry, when I'm saying recharges on a 4 to 6, at the start of each of her turns, you roll a d6. 4, 5, or 6, this recharges. It's the same with breath weapons for dragons, and that like eye beam that I was just talking about with the Colossus. That's what that recharge 4 to 6 means. So with Web of Hair, she unleashes her hair in the form of webbing that fills a 30-foot cube next to her. The web is difficult terrain, the area is lightly obscured, and lasts for 1 minute. Any creature that moves into the web or that starts its turn there must make a dexterity saving throw DC 21. On a failed save, the creature is restrained. A creature can use an action to make a DC 21 strength check. On a success, it can free itself or a creature within 5 feet that is restrained by the web. I'm assuming if you pass the dexterity saving throw, you're not
You should be
restrained.
fine.
It usually says the wording, but I guess it just assumed that you knew what the fuck you're doing. The webbing is immune to all damage except magical fire. A 5-foot cube of web is destroyed if it takes at least 20 fire damage from a spell or other magical source on a single turn. So 5 feet of a 30-foot cube takes 20 fire damage to burn away. She has 3 legendary actions. She can attack with one of her claws. She can use 2 of her actions to swarm. Arasta causes 2 swarms of spiders to appear in unoccupied spaces within 5 feet of her. The swarm of spiders is a half challenge rating medium swarm of tiny beasts. It's only like 22 hit points. It's just little ankle biters basically. Or she can use all 3 of her legendary actions for Toxic Web. Each creature restrained by Arasta's web of hair takes 18 poison damage. Now,
Yikes.
mythic actions. If Arasta's mythic trait is active, which there's usually a trigger for it. Hold on. Let me see what it is. Arasta has a mythic encounter. She's a formidable enemy under normal circumstances, but to give characters a truly mythic challenge, you can have her call in her armor of spiders. Okay, so when she uses her armor of spiders, this is when her mythical traits kick in. So, while it is active, she can use the options below as legendary actions, as long as she has temporary hit points from her armor of spiders. She can swipe, making 2 attacks with her claws. Web of Hair costs 2 of her mythic actions. She recharges Web of Hair and uses it. She also has Nyx Weave, which costs 2 actions. Each creature restrained by Arasta's Web of Hair must succeed on a DC 21 con saving throw or take 26 force damage, and any spell of 6th level or lower on it ends. Oof. So any buff spells are basically taken out. Yeah, that's... Oh! And she has lair actions.
Yeah.
Let's see.
A dryad.
The lair action happens on initiative count 20, losing to initiative ties. She cannot use the same effect 2 rounds in a row. The first one is Arasta learns about any creature touching her webs. Each creature restrained by a web or Arasta's Web of Hair must make a DC 21 intelligence saving throw. On a failed save, Arasta gains knowledge of a creature's name, race, where they consider home, and what brought them to her web. The other option is Arasta casts the giant insect spell, spiders only. It lasts until she uses the lair action again or until she dies. Oh, Zach dropped out. And he's back.
That was weird.
Let's see. The spell is you transform up to 10 centipedes, 3 spiders, 5 wasps, or 1 scorpion within range into giant versions of their natural forms for the duration. So, you basically... Okay, you can only do the spider, so you pick 3 spiders and they become giant spiders. Ugh.
Nightmare fuel.
Do you imagine a giant daddy long leg?
No, I can't.
Why can't they be cute?
Yeah, other than the fact it would actually be able to kill you because it's a giant daddy long leg spider.
Now, here's the question. Would a giant daddy long legs actually bite you, or would it just punch you from across the room?
Probably both. It would probably punch you, then bite you. Because fuck you.
I just like the idea if you're just like across a gymnasium, and you're in the other corner, it's in the other corner, and it's just fucking boxing you in the face. Just to-goo, 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 to-goo.
Look at this thing.
What thing?
Armonite? Oh, interesting.
It looks cool.
An Armonite is a large fiend. It basically looks like a really devilish centaur. Like, if you've ever played Doom, put a Hell Knight on a centaur body. The AC is 16, average hit points of 94. It is resistant to cold, fire, and lightning. It is immune to poison and being poisoned. dark vision to 120 feet. Passive perception is 11. It has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. It can make 1 claw attack, 1 hoof attack, and 1 serrated tail attack per action. All of those are plus 8 to hit. There's an average of 10 slashing damage, 12 bludgeoning damage, 16 slashing damage, and it has Lightning Lance that recharges on a 5 or a 6. It lets loose a bolt of lightning in a line that is 60 feet long and 10 feet wide. Each creature in the line must make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw, taking 36 lightning damage. So it's essentially like a centaur blue dragon.
Mm-hmm.
A young one, anyway. But still, like, that's cool looking art there. Let me pop that up. Like, that's a cool looking creature.
Yeah, that thing looks badass.
It really looks like something out of Diablo.
The tail looks a little eh.
Isa, can we get one?
No.
We can name him Philip.
No.
What about Frank? Would you settle for Frank?
All right, that's fine.
Okay. See, you just got to pick the right name.
How about
Yeah.
Elvis Jr.?
Mama needs a right name. Let's see. Fuck.
There's a lot of critters.
There's a lot of fucking critters. I mean, just going to all monsters, and you consider there's, I think, like 20 per page, and there's 128 pages. That's a lot of fucking critters.
What
Who
is
made
the
a
last...
D&D meme? Share? Oh, it was Zeke. Oh, you should for sure pick that up. But you know, you guys technically kind of already learned that lesson.
Oh, hell yeah, I'm picking that up. Free fucking ruby. Or diamond. Shit.
Well, grayscale.
So I did the
hard to
math.
tell.
Being emerald.
20 pages. Sorry, no. 20 monsters per page, 128 pages. That's 2,560 monsters to choose from.
1,
There you
2,
go.
3,
Dun,
4,
dun.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So subtract 8 from that number because there's only 12 entries on the last page. But still,
2,552.
that's still a lot of fucking monsters.
I sent you the last monster on D&D Beyond.
Ooh. Oh, come on, Matthew Mercer. You don't want to give us a pronunciation for this?
Oh, what is it?
Zugtomy? Zugtomoy?
I will post it in character sharing.
Is it a monster of Mark Zuckerberg
So,
or something?
it's a large fiend, chaotic evil, AC
What
of
the
18,
heck?
average hit points of 304, 30 feet of movement, 22 strength, 15 dex, 18 constitution, 20 intelligence, 19 wisdom, 24 charisma. That's pretty beefy.
Mm-hmm.
It is resistant to cold, fire, and lightning. It is immune to poison and the traditional non-magical weapon damages. It cannot be charmed, exhausted, frightened, or poisoned. It has 120 feet of true sight, passive perception to 21. It knows all languages and it has telepathy of 120 feet. 3 legendary resistances a day. And it has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects. It has multi-attack. It can make 3 pseudopod attacks. Its pseudopod is a plus 13 to hit, range of 10 feet, average of 15 force damage plus 9 poison damage. It has spellcasting. So it can at will cast detect magic, locate animals or plants. It can cast dispel magic, entangle, and plant growth 3 times a day. And it can cast etherealness and teleport 1 day each. Bonus action, infestation spores 3 times a day. Zugtomy releases spores that burst out in a cloud that fills a 20-foot radius sphere centered on her, and it lingers for 1 minute. Any creature in the cloud when it appears or that enters it later must make a DC 19 Constitution saving throw. On a successful save, the creature can't be infected by these spores for 24 hours. On a failed save, the creature is infected with a disease called the Spores of Zuctmoy, which lasts until the creature is cured of the disease or dies. While infected in this way, the creature can't be reinfected, and it must repeat the saving throw at the end of every 24 hours, ending the infection on success. On a failure, the infected creature's body is slowly taken over by fungal growth, and after 3 such failed saves, the creature dies and is reanimated as a spore servant if it's a type of creature that can be, or that can exist. Mind Control Spores recharges on a 5/6. Zuctmoy releases spores that burst out in a cloud that fills a 20-foot radius sphere centered on her, and it lingers for 1 minute. Humanoids and beasts in the cloud, when it appears or that enter it later, must make a DC 19 Wisdom saving throw. On a successful save, the creature cannot be infected for another 24 hours. On a failed save, the creature is infected with a disease called the Influence of Zuctmoy for 24 hours. While infected in this way, the creature is charmed by her and cannot be reinfected by these spores. She's got Protective Thrall as a reaction. When Zuctmoy is hit by an attack roll, one creature within 10 feet of her that is charmed by her is hit by the attack instead. She also has 3 legendary actions. She can make 1 pseudopod attack, or 1 creature charmed by Zuctmoy that she can see must use its reaction, if available, to move up to its speed as she directs or make 1 weapon attack against a target that she designates. So it almost sounds like
A stronger version of what we find.
I don't know about
mushroom
stronger.
tender.
Yeah, the mushroom tender. Which I didn't know that this creature existed until just now. She's really fucking cool looking, though.
I'm going to ruin it for you, but her abilities remind me of the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
With the king when he's in his little fungal sack. But yeah, no, I it definitely had some similarities to my creature, but no, I had no idea that creature existed until just now. And for the audio listeners, the reason that I'm struggling with this name is it is Zuggtmoy. So
What if it's Zuctmoy?
So I got curious. I got curious about it because she's a demon. She's not a devil, so she lives in the abyss. So I got curious and Googled where she's from. Shidakla is the 20. Oh, sorry. Shidakla is the 222nd layer of the abyss. It is primarily ruled by Zuctmoy, or whatever we want to call her, but there are some parts that are contested by another demon of similar, I guess you could say, values, called Jubliex, who is called the Lord of Nothing because he doesn't hold that much power even in his own layer of the abyss.
I swear, people that come up with demon names just punch their keyboard and just say, "Yep, good enough."
They sneeze on it.
Do what?
They sneeze on their keyboard.
I was gonna say they just drop a bucket of Orbeez.
The art for her, I'm just Googling it. It's pretty badass.
Yeah, she's really cool looking. Just don't go too far into the deep dark web, or you might find some shit you don't want to see.
Oh, what if I want to see it?
Let's keep that off stream.
Okay.
This is her counterpart in her own layer of the abyss.
Oh my!
That's the Lord of Nothing.
Dude!
A snot monster.
Holy shit! Look at this model, though.
I know, right?
That's
Yeah,
the
you-
creature in the back of the. If you look at the Zekmoy, in the back, that other creature in the background is that other creature that you just showed, Zeke.
That is a gorgeous bust, dude.
Mhm.
Look at that.
Is she the creator?
What are you
of it,
looking at?
That lady?
I don't know. I'm just scrolling through the photos. If you're on the stream, you'll be able to see what I'm looking at. I'll post this link in the Discord if you haven't already joined that.
Oh, I see.
That is just a gorgeous statue.
Mm-hmm.
You know that bitch hand painted.
Oh yeah.
That's probably a couple grand easy. Anyway, wow. Fantastic. So yeah.
Well, hey, that actually brings us to our next topic really easily.
Oh,
Don't
Moss.
say it. Don't say it.
You bitch.
I gotta go do something.
Not moss related things. All right. I swear I'm going to ask you a question. And if you give me the answer that I'm afraid you're going to give me, then we're going to move on.
All right.
What do you want to talk about moss?
Well, actually, Moss is. There's multiple things that you can talk about related to D&D with Moss, because our ropers, they're related to beholders more or less, but there are like fungal creatures, kind of like ropers, right?
Well, I just typed in moss and I got the mossback steward, which is a giant turtle with a city on its back. So,
Let's talk about that.
it's gargantuan monstrosity, AC of 17, 22 when it's in its shell, average hit points of 227. Its speed is only 20 feet. 28 strength, 3 dex, 25 constitution, 12 intelligence, 17 wisdom, 5 charisma. It is immune to poison and being poisoned. It has 60 feet of dark vision, 120 feet of telepathy. It understands Goblin, Common, and Primordial, but cannot speak it. It can breathe air and water. Massive frame. The tortoise can carry up to 20,000 pounds of weight atop its shell, but moves at half speed if the weight exceeds 10,000 pounds. Medium or smaller creatures can move underneath the tortoise while it's not prone. Any creature under the tortoise when it falls prone is grappled. Escape DC is 18. Until the grapple ends, the creature is prone and restrained. So it has spellcasting? As an action, it can cast the following spells with the spell save DC 15. At will, friends.
Oh.
And once per rest, suggestion and divination. It has a bite attack at a plus 12 to hit, 10-foot reach. 28 bludgeoning damage is the average. And its shell defense recharges on a 4 to a 6. The tortoise withdraws into its shell, falls prone, and gains a plus 5 bonus to AC. While the tortoise is in its shell, its speed is 0 and can't increase. The tortoise can emerge from its shell as an action, whereupon it is no longer prone.
The artwork reminds me of like something between Mad Max and Waterworld.
I'm getting World of Warcraft horde base on a turtle.
Yeah.
I just like the idea that it can cast friends.
Yeah, and it actually like is it has telepathy, so it can actually talk to you.
Well, it understands Goblin, Common, and Primordial, but it cannot speak. So yeah, technically it can.
Right. I assume like if it can't speak, it just like communicates in like feelings and pictures.
Yeah, that's how I think
Yeah.
telepathy works.
That's
My mother.
that's generally how that works for telepathic things. Like even you as a player, if you have telepathy, there's actually a few races that are able to speak with telepathy, and it says that so long as it understands a language, you can speak to it. But it has to understand a language. You can't communicate to a dog.
What?
I think the Ghostwise halflings can only communicate with telepathy because they are either incapable of speaking or have taken a vow of silence.
Interesting.
Is it cheating if you're using telepathy with your vow of silence?
Obviously not.
Well, you're not technically making a sound. So I would say no. Sorry.
Moss is cool.
There is violet fungus, and I actually can't look at the fungal serving because it's part of the Candlekeep Mysteries, and I don't own that book. But the violet fungus has false appearance. While the violet fungus remains motionless, it is indistinguishable from an ordinary fungus. It has multi-attack. It makes 1d4 rotting touch attacks. It's a melee weapon attack, +2 to hit, reach of 10 feet, one creature. Does an average of 4 necrotic damage.
Danger moss.
So it basically just anemones its way to you for death damage.
Death damage. Was the name of my high school band.
Death damage.
It's technically not moss, but it is a plant. Look up AARTUK because these things are
AARP?
wild. There's a couple of different variations of
There's
them.
an Artuk Elder, an Artuk Priest, and an Artuk Warrior. Let's take a look. Their creature rating is 2, 2, and 3, so they're not terribly strong.
They are wild to look at.
Basically land starfish.
The priest
It's
looks cool.
what's the thing from DC Comics?
Yeah,
The starfish?
Yeah, the starfish. I just said starfish.
Yeah, but I was trying to remember the name. I can't remember the name.
Oh, I don't fucking remember. You're thinking of the thing from Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
But they are apparently plants.
Let's see. They have an AC of 14, 15, and 16. Average hit points of 52, 38, and 75. They all have 60 feet of dark vision. The priest, the Artuk priest has a +3 to religion. So there's that.
Yes.
They all have spider climb. Multi-attack. They each get to make 2 branch attacks. It's a +4, a +3, and a +6 to hit. Averaging 11 bludgeoning, 8 bludgeoning, and 8 bludgeoning. They also have Radiant Pellet, which is a +3 to hit, a +2 to hit, and a +4 to hit. 60 feet of range, and it's anywhere from 7 radiant damage. Oh no, yeah, 7, 7, and 10 radiant damage. The Elder gets spell casting, and it can cast Calm Emotions, Detect Magic, and Sending once, 1 day each. The Priest gets Revivify and Tongues 1 day each, and the Warrior doesn't spellcast. Each of them get the Tongue bonus action. It all recharges on a 6. I'm looking to see. Let's see. It must make a DC 12 dexterity saving throw. That one is a 12, and that one is an 11. On a failed save, the target is grappled by the tongue and pulled up 25 feet towards it. The tongue can only grapple once at a time. The priest gets rally troops as a bonus action. It's once a day. It magically ends the charmed and frightened conditions on itself and on each creature of its choice that it can see within 30 feet of itself. It's very interesting. I don't know what to make of these things. Very... Imagine like a starfish, but the center part of its body just like that like pops up, and that's its head, and it's attached by like a gooey stem.
You.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's from the Spelljammer, I think.
I'll put
So
it up
it's
on
very weird.
the stream. So this green one, if you're on the stream, is the elder. This one is the priest,
Blah.
and this is the warrior.
This is actually a creature in D&D.
Yes, yes. it
Yeah,
No,
is.
I'm reading another creature. Sorry, I came across this out of just sheer curiosity.
Did you type in butt?
I
I
typed
actually
in,
found.
Oh,
Oh, go ahead. No, you were first.
I typed in Wappletanger because I was actually just curious if this existed. It does.
What?
The killer rabbit exists in D&D.
Zeke, you are correct. This is the Spelljammers. That's what the R-Tooks are from.
How do you spell it, Zach?
I'll link it in Creature Share. Ian, you should talk about this
Well,
one
spell
when
it.
you're done. I Wappletanger.
Oh, okay. It's not an official thing.
I thought it was.
No,
This
that's
looks like
that's
a
homebrew.
fan-made one.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
You should read it anyways. It's actually
How-
pretty cool.
Yeah, it is not an official.
I did find
Basically,
another-
Zach's persona has been made into a
No, it's definitely
D&D
not.
creature.
This thing is literally the size of a small rabbit.
Yeah, persona. So interesting. It doesn't actually give a size. It's a magical beast, chaotic neutral, AC of 13, an average of 85 hit points. It has it think of a jackalope but with wings. That's basically what this is. It has 30 feet of flying, 15 to 30 feet of running, depending on its current size. Yeah, this is absolutely homemade because this wording is not well done. 13 strength, 27 dex, 10 constitution, 16 intelligence, 21 wisdom, and 25 charisma. Whew. It's pretty stacked. Interesting. It cannot be knocked prone. It is immune to being prone, charmed, or grappled. It has 80 feet of dark vision. That's a strange measurement.
So
A passive
okay.
perception of 21.
So real fast before you keep going. So the reason why it's saying depending on its current size, if you read its lore up top, it grows in size based on how much blood it's consumed from other creatures. If it's about Rebels, it can go up to like a small dog about 3 foot high.
So it's tiny to small.
Yeah.
So it has this so cute and fluffy. The Wolpertinger's first instinct is to try and fool any adventurer who comes across it. It will do this by looking friendly, domesticated, or injured. If any person questions this, they must succeed on a DC 16 Wisdom saving throw, or they are fooled by the act. I love the wording of that, actually. Limited magical resistance. The Wolpertinger has advantage on saving throws against spells and other magical effects that attempt to bind, trap, ensnare, or capture it. Interesting. Small and tricksy. As a squirmy, small, and teleportation-prone beast, the Wolpertinger has advantage on all physical and ranged attack rolls against it. What? Including magical... What? That doesn't make sense.
Confusion.
I wonder if this is meant for D&D. Because you don't get advantage on attacks against you. Like, that's not a thing.
I don't know.
Not to mention, magical missiles automatically hit. Like, there's no saving. Like, if it said it had advantage on saves against stuff, I could see that. But it has multi-attack. It can make 2 melee attacks, or it makes 1 melee attack and teleports before or after the attack. Teleport. It can teleport up to 120 feet to an unoccupied space it can see. Separate quarry. If the Wolpertinger is in contact with another creature, that creature can be teleported alongside the Wolpertinger. The other creature does not need to be willing, but if they wish to resist, they must succeed on a DC 16 Dex saving throw. Its bite attack is a plus 10 to hit with a 5-foot reach, average of 17 piercing damage. To avoid incurring a level of exhaustion due to blood loss, an enemy must succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw. Yeah, the wording of small and tricksy, if this is meant for D&D, needs to be
Different.
tweaked. And they also need to have the information about its size in its actual page and not just in its lore.
Yeah.
Because, like, on a successful bite, if they fail the save or something, then that's when it gets bigger or something like that.
Yeah. I was curious because you said it, and I'm just like, I wonder if they say it up top, and it does actually. It mentions it up top and how that kind of exists to a small degree.
It just screams Feywild to me.
It does. I agree.
Yeah. It's different. It has potential, but I don't. This is either not meant for 5e, or it's meant for like Pathfinder or something with very similar but slightly different rules to D&D.
Yeah. I just thought it was interesting. It's kind of funny. Like, I was just surprised that rules to some degree existed with it.
Right.
Because again, like, I just remember this because this was a mini pet you could have in not D&D, in World of Warcraft. And I'm just like, it was fucking god awful ugly. It's like, would never want to use it. But
yeah, it's like the wrong kind of bucktooth.
yeah.
All right.
But then
I mean, we've been going for almost 2 hours, so unless you guys have another creature or two you wanted to look at.
Speed round through the last 2. Let's go.
What last?
Ambjerger and Pack Dak DX.
Oh, okay.
Ambjerger is just a astral dreadnought.
He's an astral hole.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Pack Tactic.
Pack Tactics is...
It's like Pack Tactics, but without the S.
Could you imagine if everyone had Pack Tactics?
Yes. Yes, I can.
It would make combat a lot easier for you guys. That's
I
for
don't
damn
think
sure.
I don't think we need that.
Well, I mean, you got your shit rocked the other session.
Yeah.
Kirsten's gotten her shit rocked. Pez has gotten his shit rocked.
I mean, everybody's gotten their shit kicked in for a little to some degree.
Yeah,
You
Brick.
remember
I was
when
gonna
we
say
almost did. A
Brick
TPK
almost
on
died.
a medium encounter.
I didn't almost get a TPK.
You almost did.
No. I mean, sure, a few of you almost died, but like 2 of you is not close enough to a TPK.
But it was
And I
not
think
for
you and Kirsten are the only ones that have actually gone unconscious.
Mhm.
But I've come close to killing Zahn a few times. Pez has gone down. Kirsten has gone down. Brick has... Have you gone down, or have you just gotten really close to going down?
You know,
Because the T-Rex really fucked you up on the train, but I don't think you... Did you die?
I don't think so.
I think you were close, and Vanera plapped you.
Well, maybe. It's been a while. I don't know.
Yeah. Vanera, I think, is the only one that hasn't, like, really suffered. I think. I'm pretty sure I haven't kicked her ass. Fuck, even Metal's, like, almost died as Kip Hax. No, he went down a couple times as Kip Hax.
I think he did go down.
Well, he was also, like, walking up, waggling his finger and scolding the mushroom tender.
Mm-hmm.
It was
Well,
like
that's
your
something
first
he would do.
legendary boss.
Playing his character.
He was.
You also almost killed Herman LeBouf.
Yeah. That's true.
Who?
Ray's trying to do a freaking fucked up CPR.
This was during one of the one shot I did with Issa to get her a feeling of how the game plays and all.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, what was that you got down by the Banshee scream, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping that would happen. I didn't think it would happen to the healer, though.
I know.
A Banshee Whale is wisdom saving throw, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Well,
That is
now,
unusual.
well, he was a bard, so
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
But still, like he was the healer.
Yeah.
But I was nice. I let them make a medicine check, and they rolled decently high. I let them CPR him back. I didn't want to end the legacy of Herman LeBouf just yet.
Not like that, but soon.
No. Speaking of,
More
though,
gruesome.
I do need to. Now that I'm back and I'm actually, fucking cognizant again. I really need to get that Metal's next one shot going.
Yep.
Mm.
And I am slowly working on getting a Storm King's Thunder campaign up and running.
Oh,
Just
dope.
been slower going than I was hoping, but HHN really kicked my ass.
It
Uh,
is what it is.
What are your roadblocks, if you don't mind me asking? Just having the energy yet, or?
I was really taking this last probably week and a half to just kind of chill,
Decompress.
yeah, just have some moments to myself, and there has been some work in the in betweens,
Yeah.
but it was mainly just like, can I just take a breath, please, dear God?
No, I feel you. I pretty much haven't thought about D&D until today. Like, past, oh, I want to play, I want to continue. Today is the first day since I left that I've actually, like, opened my documents and looked at them and reviewed my notes and, like, went back and reviewed voices that I had done so I know how, like, fucking Nikolai sounds and everything.
He's like, howdy there, partner. You didn't sound like that last time.
Well, that was before I got hit by a giant icy greatsword, you fucker.
Hacker.
You fucker.
And
All right.
I am happy to announce that the Headless Gods is coming along nicely, along with the SW5E campaign setting.
The Headless Gods?
Yeah, that's the name of my campaign setting.
For...
Well, I mean, the campaign title.
Is this your Star Wars one?
No,
Oh.
this is my own world.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
Yeah.
I will say I have been playing Breath of the Wild a lot, and
Oh god.
I've played it so much, and I have probably explored maybe an eighth of the map, and I'm already thinking, it's like, man, I really want to rip this off and make this map into a D&D world because it's just so freaking cool.
You do it.
I love
What's
that
stopping
game.
you?
After Storm King's Thunder.
After.
After. Such a good game. I
Mhm.
can't believe it took me 5 years to play it.
Well, I mean, you didn't have the system for starters.
I've had it since Christmas. I've just been doing playing other stuff, and it's finally been like, it's like, man, I really want a good exploration game. Oh wait, I have this.
I think the only thing that really turns me off is the item degradation.
I thought that would get annoying too, but if you
It
know
gives you
where
a
to look,
shit ton.
it really does. It replaces it very quickly. I often
just-
have like, which one do I want to take?
That
Which
defeats
one do
the
I want to eat?
that defeats the purpose, though. If they're just gonna give you a bunch of them, why even have the feature?
I think it's mainly to keep you from just sticking with one weapon. They want you to use all different types of weapons, and it's to keep you from just sticking with one.
I don't like it.
There are some good and bad parts for me as well. I'll admit there are some times where I'm like, I wish this wasn't a thing. But then there's other times I'll come across 5 enemies all with the same weapon, and it's a really good weapon. I'm like, sweet, I get to stock up.
Okay, well, we have drifted wildly from D&D topics, so let's go ahead and wrap up Whiskey Wednesdays real quick here.
All right, sorry.
No. I mean, I'm down to stay on and keep talking about it. And if you're interested in staying on and talking about it, consider joining our Discord, because this is the kind of shit we talk about all the fucking time.
Yeah, we're huge
Yeah.
fucking nerds.
Yes, we are. So if you haven't already, the link should be down below. If you're listening to this in podcast form, it should be in the description. You may have to type it out. I'm sorry. It's a tiny link. You can do it. I believe in you. Or you can look us up on Twitch or YouTube, Fools and Flagons, and there should be a clickable link there for you to follow. We welcome anyone and everyone. And if you just want to sit and lurk and just type in the text chat, that's perfectly fine. And if you want to pop in and just chat whenever we're around, by all means. That's what we're here for. Again, we have D&D this Friday, which will be exciting. Yeah. That's about all I got. Anyone else got anything?
Thank you for enjoying our company with us. We're amazing.
I'm really tempted to do that little jingle from the Game Grumps episode that we all laughed hysterically at.
Oh, hold
one-
on. I actually have that saved on my desktop.
Oh yes, play it.
Go fuck your dad. Oh, fuck, it's playing again.
Oh yeah, I can hear it.
I can't hear anything.
It's probably in the stream.
It's on the stream.
Oh yeah, it'll
Oh.
play. Okay, hold on, let me listen to the stream.
Yeah. A funny
Okay,
story, that's
beep.
actually Metal's ringtone. Oh, hold on. God. Here we go.
Like, what the shit?
Anyway, enjoy that little snippet into our idiocy. If you like that kind of stuff, then you're in the right place. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed. We'll be back. I'll probably have this up in podcast form Thursday or Friday, depending on when I have the time to do it, or later on this weekend. And yeah, I hope to see you on Friday during the live stream. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye bye.
Night.